An epilepsy seizure can have myriad causes and affects millions of Americans every day. Here to help bring awareness to this disease is Karen St. Marie, founder and executive director of SC Advocates for Epilepsy, or S.A.F.E. We're also grateful to be joined by her son, Erick Gordon. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Indeed. Erick, tell us about your epilepsy journey.
My journey. All right. I was diagnosed in March of 2007. I actually had 3 tonic-clonic seizures in 18 hours, which is pretty big. Yeah. Since then, it's been a little over 16 years. Through then, I was involved in 2 clinical trials, which have drastically helped with my seizure control.
Yeah. Do you still experience seizures?
Yes.
You do. You mentioned a tonic-clonic. What is that?
So it's the new term for what's previously known as a grand mal seizure.
Ah.
So it's the big one. It's the one where they usually lose consciousness. You know, they'll convulse. Sometimes they fall to the floor. They can turn blue.
Oh.
So
that must have been frightening for you. And
absolutely.
Within 18 hours, that's got to be a big deal. So, as a mother, what went through your head when you saw your son having one of these horrific seizures?
So, interestingly, I am 1 in 10, which 1 in 10 people will have a single seizure in their lifetime, but I was not diagnosed. So, I was aware of some seizures because of friends and different scenarios where I've been able to help other people. But when it's your child, it's much different. It's very scary, and all you want to do is help them, and sometimes you just don't know what to do. So,
sure, of course.
But it's very alarming. The diagnosis of epilepsy is 2 or more unprovoked seizures within 24 hours. So almost immediately he was diagnosed.
Ever since then, though, he's had surgery. Tell us a bit more about what happened afterwards and where it brings Erick today.
Sure. So very quickly on his journey, we learned that he was not responding to medications. Even though we tried multiple medications, different cocktails, nothing was working. The side effects were pretty severe. And so early on, Erick wanted to find out if he could be a surgery candidate, which in turn meant having surgery and placing the leads down into his brain. But we found out that it was coming from both sides of his brain and the hippocampus, and you cannot have surgery.
You cannot.
So you cannot, because you cannot live without them. You can live with one, but not without both. And his were coming from both of his hippocampus.
So did he have one removed? Or?
Fortunately, we were offered a clinical trial, which is for a device called the NeuroPace, and it actually runs like a 24-hour EEG in his brain from leads that are in his brain. And we were able to determine that the right side was not responding to the device, and it was causing more than 90% of his seizures.
Oh, wow.
So because of this single device, we were able to learn that he was indeed a surgery candidate.
Oh, that's incredible.
And they were able to remove that hippocampus, and so that drastically, we knew it wasn't going to give us complete control, but it drastically decreased the number of seizures and the severity.
Well, you have dedicated your life to the cause that is S.A.F.E.
Yes.
So tell us about the work that you do with S.A.F.E. and how you're hoping that the rest of the community, as they watch this, are more cognizant of what it is like to live with epilepsy.
One of our biggest goals is actually seizure first aid training. In South Carolina, we average 2,100 new diagnoses every year. So seizure first aid training is very, very important. We have over 105,000 people that have an active diagnosis. So,
are you implementing this in schools at all so that schools are also better aware of children and students who have?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we are actually working on a bill right now, which is called the Seizure Safe School Act. And what that will do is that will allow all school employees to have free online seizure first aid training so that they will know the basic symptoms and know what to look for, and then also basic seizure first aid training until someone such as a school nurse or another designated person is able to be there.
That's wonderful.
And so we just feel that that's a really important initiative that we have right now.
Indeed.
And also because seizures don't just happen at school.
Right, no, that is absolutely true,
You know,
isn't it?
and while this act is being put in place for students that may already have a diagnosis of epilepsy.
Right.
It will also help students or staff members that may have their first seizure at school or a sporting event or a field trip.
You can't be too informed.
Absolutely.
It's not just seizure preparation and CPR and all the other things. It's
Correct.
A better informed community is a safer
Correct.
one. You also have a 5K fun run that's been scheduled for April 20th. So we hope to have you before spring.
Absolutely.
We'll see you
we
again
would love
soon.
to do that.
I want to thank you both so much. Eric, thank you for sharing your story with us.
You are
Thank
very
you for
welcome.
having us.
Thank you. We're back after this.